Pretty good.
Good, good.
How are you?
I am fine. I'm fine. I'm dragging here a little bit, but hey, all is good. So, do we want to get started here, Nicole?
Yep, I posted the agenda packet. It might look like it's in there twice for some of you, but little Zoom tool tip for your knowledge is for people that are on that come on after the fact, they can't see any chat's history.
Okay.
So that's why you might see it posted in there sometimes 2-3 times. When I see people come on, I'll repost it. But,
wow,
but yes, we are ready. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense, does it, Nicole?
It's not very intuitive, is it?
Yeah, shoot.
Okay, well, to our small, select, and distinguished group, good morning and welcome. This is the Outreach and Community Engagement Subcommittee of CAB. We're going to start our meeting with introductions. Oh my God. I'm Crawford Carpenter, and I'm a member of CAB. And why don't we go to you, Mark?
Okay, I'm Mark Tom, living up in Oakley. And see, I've been with you since the beginning of this year, I guess as an official member of CAB. And I'll pass it to Dale.
Yeah, thank you. I live in Walnut Creek, in Rossmore and Walnut Creek. And the same as Mark, we joined the same time. So we've been traveling the same path.
And Nicole?
I'm Nicole Popchek with the Office of Reentry and Justice, and I flood your inboxes.
For sure. And Monique.
Hi, I'm Monique Tate, and I am from ORJ as well. And I'll start flooding your inbox.
Okay. Any announcements from our group here?
I guess one announcement that would impact this group, and Crawford, you might have received the invite, is that and I think Jill did also announce it at the last general meeting, is that we did get the first CCP meeting confirmation scheduled for April 1st. So that's coming up on Friday in the next couple of weeks. And that is where our applicants that we interviewed here, the 3 applicants, Lanita, Terry, and Scott, will be officially presented to the CCP for formal approval. So.
Okay, and from our committee here, I wrote up for each one of them kind of a brief, maybe 5 bullet points on each of them, and I'll be prepared to present that.
And just so you know, so part of our staff report, we always ask for a biography from them that eventually goes on to the CAB website as their kind of bio. Mark might be familiar with that. So we ask for 150 words or less, just kind of explaining their experience or reason to join CAB. So that'll be part of the staff report as well.
Excellent.
I sure am impressed with all 3 of them. Wow.
Well, that should be an asset to the entire group here. And all we have to do is take a deep breath and see what we can do about filling some of the alternate slots. I know that's something we've got to concentrate on, and I'm still working on some of that, and maybe we'll get into that later. But any other announcements so we can kind of get to the meat of our agenda? Anything from you, Mark, by chance, or Dale, Mark, anything?
Nope, nothing from me.
Okay, thank you then. I don't know if we have anybody from the public that's on the call, but any public comment on any item potentially under the jurisdiction of CAB and not on this agenda? Guess that's pretty clear then. There's nobody here. Why don't we move to the next item, which is the approval of the minutes on our February 15th. That's our past meeting. I've had a chance to review them. Mark, did you have a chance to glance at them? Do you need a moment or two to glance at those?
I glanced at them just a minute ago. I think I'm pretty good with them.
Thank you, sir. I'm good with them. Now, since there are only two of us on this committee, may I have a motion from you, Mark, to approve the minutes?
Okay. Well, I move that we approve the minutes.
And I'll second. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just saying for February 15th minutes.
Thank you very much. And I will second Mark's motion. What's the next thing is, are there any comments from the public? I don't think there's any public. May we have a vote then? Can you call the roll, please, Nicole?
Sure. Sure. Can you guys see my screen, by the way? You see the agenda?
Yeah,
okay,
I see the agenda.
Perfect. Mark.
And
yes. Crawford. Okay.
Aye, yes, same as Mark.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Do we have any? I don't believe we have any applications on item number 4 here, do we? We don't have.
No, we did keep it there just in case we had received applications between the general meeting and now, but unfortunately we do not have any at this time.
Okay. Before we go to the, or let me ask here from a procedural standpoint, we've got to really get our heads together on our plan for West County. Do we want to cover that when we go over, our work plan? Would it be more appropriate there, Monique and Nicole, or can we chat about that a second here where it says applications, or should we wait? What do you think?
I mean, my recommendation would be to get through the work plan, unless there's specific activity that you wanted to include that's not already kind of part of the work plan specific to West County. I mean, I will say that the next CCP meeting most likely won't be until June, unless there's a special meeting on our behalf to approve CAB appointments. So we have some time to kind of develop a plan to recruit for West County, which I think we're already doing some of the work. So that would be my recommendation, but that's obviously up to Mark and yourself. If you want to spend some time to talk about the issue that we're having on 4 a little bit, and then you can move on. I mean, you have only one other agenda item basically, which is to review the work plan. So you have some time.
Okay, well, why don't maybe we could do this, Mark, and maybe you and I need to noodle through this, and you're always welcome to assist, Dale. We've got a dire need there for West County to get representation. We've talked to the supervisor's office. We've talked to the mayor's office, and maybe we need to, again, approach those individuals, and be it the mayor's office, be it the state representatives, the state senator, etc., and see if they can be of assistance. And I think Nakenya had mentioned, and this really isn't something I would know how to do, is to contact the churches in West County. I think she had mentioned that. And I was just thinking, maybe if Nakenya could give us a list of the churches, just give us the name of the church and the phone number. I don't mind reaching out, and maybe we can figure out how the 3 of us, at least on a temporary basis here, divide up the churches in West County and see if they might be of assistance. I
think Dale's hands up.
Oh, yes, Dale.
Yeah, I like that idea, but I was also thinking of senior centers. If there are some active senior centers, they might be, it might be worthwhile to contact them too.
Okay, and then guess what just dawned on me? I've been had a chance to play tennis right across the street from, is Pinole in West County? I think it is Pinole.
Maybe Don was able to speak to that. I'm not sure if that's central or.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm off the top of my head. I just did a map last year for.
She froze.
Yeah, you're frozen, Dawn.
Yeah, that's the internet.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I'm not sure, Crawford, but we can follow up on that.
I'll look it up while you guys are talking.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know right off the top of my head,
That's
but I'll
okay.
look it up.
and I've already reached out to the junior college in West County. I've called the guy twice, sent him two emails at the junior college, and crickets. So,
Well,
oh, go
I did
ahead.
want to state that, so in the work plan, when you guys review it, there's actually, and I don't remember seeing this last time because it was kind of new to me, but there is a task associated to membership cultivation that is identifying commissions or meetings or basically outside influences that we should be recruiting to. So you could even
maybe we list them there.
Agendize it maybe in the next meeting where people come back with more ideas on with a West County focus.
Okay.
Just wanted to highlight that it is an action, a task in your work plan.
Okay, good. All right, then. Why don't we move then to the next item? And this is, I guess, shouldn't say I guess, this is the meat of our session here today, is to review the work plan.
So I'm going to actually bring up the Word doc itself and try to make edits in real time.
Oh, good.
If needed. So this is the work plan, and I believe the first thing that was discussed last year was whether or not you want it to be a 1-year plan versus a 2-year plan, which you might have more thoughts, Crawford, this year, whether or not that makes a difference. But most of the work and the deliverables that you guys have is on an annual basis. So we just need to decide on if it's a 1-year versus 2-year.
Okay, well, let's go to Mark first. Comment from you, Mark, inputs. What are your druthers, Mark?
Well, no, I'm looking this over. Well, but in general, what I'm thinking about is what I can do. I'm usually pretty good once I get a specific assignment and then can do it. So that's what I'm looking for.
We can come back to that, Crawford, the actual timeline. Maybe once you review the entire work plan, you'll have a better idea if it's going to span across 1 year versus 2. But
well, hey, I'm already on board with Mark. Hey, what is it? If it's 2 things, let's beat the dickens out of those 2 things and get them right. If it's 3 things, but rather than have 8 things and then you're stumbling through 8 things. Hey, Mark, I'm with you there, my friend.
And I just wanted to provide an update. Dawn said that the Pinole is divided between District 5 and District 1. So it's split between Glover and Joya as far as the responsibility.
I went on the internet, excuse me, and it mentioned it as being in Western Contra Costa County.
I see. Okay. All right. Because I was thinking, I'm not so sure high school kids would help on this commission, or kids getting credit, but maybe we need to figure out, and I'll be a pest to the gentleman that runs the administration of justice system at the junior college over there in West County, and see what happens. At least we've had the courtesy of responses from DVC, but again, crickets from the gentleman at the other place. So I don't know. I'll figure some way to, maybe we can provide an incentive. Maybe Dawn, a call from the supervisor's office. Hey, may get this guy off of his, whatever.
Let us know. Let us know if we can send any emails. But I would definitely reach out to John Joya's office and, just, I don't know if you have already, but they may have somebody in mind over there.
Yeah, we have, between Nicole and myself, we have reached out to Joya's office. We've got the chief of staff, so we're in good shape there.
The struggle is real.
Yes, but maybe a little nudge. Hey, that's a good point. A nice little nudge from that office. Gee whiz, if we word it the right way, maybe at least he'll respond and then at least tell us no interest.
You have an applicant? Is that what's happening?
No, we do not have an applicant. We're looking for applicants from the junior college system. Okay. All right then.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll put the word out if I talk to anybody from over there.
Perfect. Mark, your hand is up.
No, I just want to be clear where we're at. Do we, like task 1, survey and advise CAB on expertise of current CAB members? Has anything been done with that?
So that is a survey, a diversity survey that we send out on an annual basis to poll the current members to see what their, I guess the goal, and maybe that, I don't know if that's indicated here, is to make sure that the body is balanced as far as expertise and other, as far as regions too. And I can share what that survey looks like from last year.
No, I'll just check if we, so that's been, that's already been engaged.
We do it every year. So I guess the question is there value in polling the members again? We're supposed to do it every January. We have not done that yet since we just started convening our subcommittees in February. So I can send this survey out again if that is what.
No, I'm just trying to do. Yeah, I'm just clarifying where we're at. What, could you go back to the agenda again? I'm just seeing so we have, so like on 2, we have that application already on the websites?
Yes, we have an online application now this year. We just launched that online application late fall. So we revised it last year with some language, if you recall, and then we launched an online application. So that's pretty much, with the exception is that I have to make some changes in there when we have vacancies, just that blurb of what vacancies we have. That'll change every time, right? We have new vacancies, but other than that, it's pretty much up and ready to share.
All right, let's go back to where Mark, Mark, I think, hey, let's go task 1, 2, 3, so we get through this. Mark, I like the start. Maybe task 1 needs to be reworded, because when I first looked at it, I said, well, gee whiz, we're kind of doing this. And this says survey and advise CAB on expertise. That isn't so much that we're looking for. We're looking for diversity and the distribution by county. So isn't that what we should be stating?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the advise is. I think maybe it's you're actually coming back to the full body to let them know what the results are, is what I guess you're advising them on. I think that's where the advise is coming from. That you would advise the full body on the type of expertise that you're looking for. But I know that there's been a big focus on this subcommittee to emphasize anybody that's interested, not a specific expertise. Correct. But I know that you guys are very excited about the expertise of the 3 applicants that are onboarding here in the next month. So maybe there is a certain expertise that you're looking to fill. Well,
maybe, I'm not so sure it's expertise. Didn't we list certain categories that we wanted people that had been impacted by the system? Yeah, I mean, this is what we put in basically we pulled it from the application itself, and that's all these different areas that we list in that flyer. Okay.
And then we poll to see who has these experiences.
Okay.
This background. So
my thought was it needs to be reworded, because just at the very beginning I said, huh? and advise CAB on the expertise. Hey, we're not looking for expertise. We're looking for bodies right now. And then
Sure. I mean, and that's, we can just take that out and just say survey CAB on the expertise of the current CAB members.
Yeah, but what do you mean by expertise? You see, that's what threw me. See, expertise tells me, are you a doctor, lawyer? Are you, doctor, lawyer, educator, etc.?
Or maybe it's just knowledge. I mean, right now, again, in the application, we do say the word experience, but maybe we just say knowledge.
Or the knowledge base of current members or something like that. You know what kind of bothers me about task 1? We're kind of already doing that. Is that really a task that we want to zero in on, or are we just singing to the choir on this one?
It's up to you guys to decide. This is just, I think, a task that's been adopted from previous annual work plans that this particular subcommittee had worked on as far as a deliverable. So there actually is a survey that we have, which I showed you, that I can send out, but we haven't had really any newer members come on. I don't anticipate that the results is going to be that different than what we had from last year, but
why don't we send the survey out, Mark, if that's if you and I are in agreement, and then we can check one thing off the list here. We got the survey out. We've already at least are looking at what's our base that we're working from. And then that can lead to some other things, be it the West County, or maybe we need a broader base of X, Y, or Z. How's that?
Is it worth looking at the survey questions at the next scheduled meeting before we just go ahead and send out what we have been doing before we commit to that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with actual questions that we're asking, and maybe needs to be the questions themselves need to be revised.
Right.
I'm happy to distribute this particular PDF after the meeting so you guys have it to look at. We can put it in the agenda packet too, but and look at that and see.
The third line from the bottom has the word expertise also, so you may need to substitute that word there.
Yes. Or voids and knowledge. You're right.
Yeah, and just above that also, 2 lines above that is the word expertise.
There we go.
Are we good with that one?
Okay.
And that's well, it says January to December, but really it's a survey that goes out. I guess the January to December is speaking to the fact that you're using this part of your recruitment process is that you're looking to balance the board as you interview applicants with specific knowledge base to balance the board. So that's where that timeline was coming from, just so you guys are comfortable with that timeline. That's what that is.
Are you comfortable with that, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, I am too. So let's move to the next item. Pardon me, Mark, is it okay to move to the next item?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that we don't start just talking for the sake of talking. Okay, item number 2.
Right, and I can't see the hands if there's hands up. So if someone wants to take themselves off of mute, if they have some, I guess, public comment to that, but.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that, item number 2. It's something,
right.
Yeah. Hey, you did a nice job on that last year, Nicole, and updated the son of a gun. So, hey, kudos to you. Any other comments on that one, Mark?
No.
Okay, let's move to item number 3.
All right, to have the application listed on the appropriate Contra Costa County websites to recruit for current and future CAB member vacancies.
No, we're on 3. We've already done 2.
Oh, we're done with that? Okay.
Yep, 3. Item 3.
This is outreach identifies county and or city boards and commissions and CBOs to outreach to for the recruitment of current and future membership needs. So this is the reference that I had earlier.
Yes.
That you guys would identify. I know that you have a list of city mayoral contacts as well as state legislator and representative contacts.
Yes.
But I think this is taking it a step further and actually like relationship building with certain boards and commissions. And I did want to specify this task 3 is very similar to task 2. One has a membership focus and one has more of a reentry services focus. So something to think about as we go into the next section. But
all right, good.
So this would be kind of identifying, like if you want to do a presentation about your recruitment needs or sending a flyer, identifying those places in the county where you'd want to do that.
Okay.
That seems to be awkward wording, outreach to for.
Mm-hmm.
County board commission CBOs to outreach for the the recruitment of current and future membership needs. Does that sound better?
CBOs to outreach.
And CBOs. Identify county and city board commissions and CBOs to outreach. I don't know to outreach for. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Why don't
basically it's wanting to outreach for the recruitment and of current and future membership. I don't even know if you need the word outreach.
Or start with that at the very beginning. OCEC : outreach to county and or city boards and commissions for the recruitment of current and future membership needs. Then we're done. Just put a colon there, then outreach. Take out identifies. And then outreach to.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, outreach to county and or city boards, commissions, and CBOs for the recruitment. Just for the,
I mean, do you really need, well, I guess, yeah. Does that look okay?
Yeah, it's a good start.
So basically this board this subcommittee outreach to county and or city boards, commissions, and CBOs for the recruitment of current and future membership needs.
There we go. Okay.
And this is a perfect example. You could actually create an agenda item to review what it should be.
Okay, excellent,
So,
excellent. Good catch.
So I have a question. So under this task, let's say, like what Dale was talking about earlier about seniors, and somebody also mentioned churches. So if we look for community-based organizations that deal with, I mean, that churches are involved with or seniors are involved with, would that be under this task?
I believe so. That would be because you're looking specifically to leverage those connections to recruit for this subcommittee or for the board. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that's especially a specific focus to foster opportunities for recruitment within those connections.
The reason I was looking at this is just know the realities now of course, the pandemic is ending. A lot more people are going back to work. And also I've worked with another nonprofit for decades now. And most of the active people are white and gray haired. And it's not because a lot of youth aren't interested. I do alternative violence project. It's just a matter of time. It's hard when you're working full time, you got children. I mean, I used to commute 2 hours both ways. I didn't have time for much else. But I know that there's some people are still want to be involved and they're active, I mean, regardless of age, but we also need the youth. But if they're going to UC Berkeley, for instance, they got a heavy load. But if there's other youth that can be, I mean, they're interested in this, they're interested in government or something, but mainly retired people tend to be our most steadiest people who stick with this. So I think that should be something that we identify as CBOs that maybe can help us with that. And that's somebody
Right.
already knows those. Or I can.
Well, I mean, the reality too is that a lot of your guys' meetings are during the day.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's probably a barrier to some of this, right?
Well, that's what changed for me. I was not working, and now when you drive Lyft, you don't get to tune into things as much as I was before. So that's just what I'm considering is, finding people who can stay with it, but who are dedicated to these issues.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Mark. Availability is a key factor, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't mean.
I'm just gonna make a comment in here that availability. How do I do that?
Well, just looking at populations or groups of people that tend to be more available, but are also dedicated. Just because they're retired, they don't quit being engaged in the communities. And the churches are good too. People there have a lot of motivation. Part of the ethic is to help improve the community. So the good idea is just how do we operationalize it? So some of these things, are we doing these by internet, by calling people up directly, by physically visiting these places?
I think it's open to all. I mean, there's been some suggestions of maybe people showing up at some relevant boards and commissions and providing an announcement that CAB is seeking applicants. If your time doesn't allow for you to stay the entire board meeting, maybe just at the very beginning where there's announcements. That's something that I think is low effort, but it's open to what you guys decide.
Okay.
Obviously, and then what limitations the actual organization has themselves of folks coming and visiting in person.
Okay.
Could we add? Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, so I'm just interested in being involved with this. I mean, one advantage now, I can drive anywhere around the county. I mean, I can get there, even if it's like part of work. I do rides. I mean, I've ended up in actually every county of the Bay Area, and I don't mind driving and meeting with people and talking to them directly. So that's one thing actually can do physically. So I'm just looking at that. So if anybody sees a way to find the people to visit or talk to even over the phone.
Mark, I have a suggestion that, and maybe both of us could do it. Number one, why don't we identify the churches or certain places to contact? Number two, I don't know about you, Mark, but I'm pick up the phone and talk to somebody. And then after you talk to them, you send them an email or a text. But I've found more success in doing it the old-fashioned way, which is talking to someone. And maybe after we do that and we identify first, so if we want, let's be strategic, identify who we're going to contact. So we're just not, flinging and flailing around and everything. Then number two, why don't we put together, we've got enough information from our slides, so you could give, or I could give a 3-minute presentation. So let's say you're going to stand up before some city council meeting. Let's have a write up what you could read, what I could read when they ask for announcements. And let's say we cloak it so it's no more than 2 minutes. And if we write something like that, well, that's kind of easy work, if you ask me. You get on at the beginning of a city meeting or a county meeting. When they ask for announcements, we identify ourselves as members of CAB. We have certain openings looking for your cooperation. We have a particular need in West County, but we don't want to forget about the other counties. Please send your application. There's a link, and boom, we're done. Something like that. Or is that too succinct? Hey, Dawn, let me get some feedback from you, Dawn.
That's exactly what I would advise. And you can even do it. You were talking about the CBOs that work with this community. I mean, that's an excellent place because you've got people that are already involved and engaged, and may know someone from a city that you're talking about, that you're asking for, something like that. But yeah, just have a little script and read it it's always, the announcements are usually at the first part of the meeting. So.
Okay. Why don't I do this? We can work on a script. And Dawn, would you say what, 2 minutes max? Because you don't want to start talking too long, because if you do, forget it.
You could shorten it to 1 minute. 1 minute lasts a long time. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to write down here 1 minute. So that'll be my assignment. How's that? I'll put a script together. And oh, wait a minute, I can't send it.
I think you already have one, Crawford. You did a one pager.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Why don't we just,
or one pager? I mean, like a one slide. It wasn't like a 1 page.
Yeah.
essay or anything, but it was just a 1-page slide with a few bullets.
Okay. But again, we may not be in a position to present the slide. This may be verbal.
Sure.
Okay.
But I think in most well, with everything being Zoom right now, you can at least provide the application link.
Okay.
On top of your, so there's like an action item where they can go and actually, forward that information on. It's getting those people to the application link, right? And there's actually a lot more information about CAB too on that link itself.
Okay, maybe we introduce it and say, here is the link. Then you mention the link, do it slowly, and give your name and number so you can send the link to them. Maybe that's the easier way. Send the link to them, and we're we've made our outreach to the public, so to speak. Mm-hmm. How's that? And Dawn, guidance here.
You could probably ask them. I'm thinking in my mind. You could probably ask people to just Google Contra Costa County CAB. I think it probably would come up. That's almost invariably how I get there the fastest way every month.
Okay.
So, I don't know what the shortest link would be that you could, I don't know. I would research that a little bit, maybe.
Okay.
Or just have
they do have a website. They have a website with a link directly to their website. So
it's 4165. You might be able to yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, the link to that page is just probably sufficient.
All right.
Hold on. Let me put it in the chat. And I think.
Anything else on this, Crawford? Mark?
No, I'm fine, Mark.
Good.
Okay, 4. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Dale, wait a minute. Dale, anything else on 3? Oh, you're on mute, Dale.
Yeah, no.
Okay, good then.
Just for information, I opened up Internet Explorer and put Contra Costa County CAB. When it opened up, all across the top were bottles of wine.
Oh.
Cabernet.
Yeah.
Not that kind of CAB. It was just a community advisory board.
Yeah.
I know. Well, it did show a community advisory board when I got past the wine. That was so funny. I thought, holy cow.
That's Northern California for you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that we're keeping track of our time here, can we move to number 4 then?
Mm-hmm.
And
so OCEC will work with ORJ in reviewing CAB membership applications and follow the bylaws to create an application pool. So this is the standing agenda item that we have, well,
But, you know, I
we
look at
had
that
a
as,
standing agenda item last year. We can still do that.
yeah. Well, that's like Chevrolet and apple pie to me. That's what we do. We're doing it. Let's move on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say that I did make a change in the online application that anytime someone submits one, everyone on this subcommittee will receive it, so that it's not, you know, just us seeing the applications. We'll be attaching it as part of the agenda packet, but this is a way for you guys to immediately in real time see applications that are coming in. So you might receive an email stating that you have an application that just was submitted. So
Excellent, Nicole. That is very helpful. Item number 5.
and then this is again interviewing, basically interviewing prospective applicants, which you guys are doing already, and this would be an ongoing January through December task.
Perfect.
I will say I know that there was some discussion about should you have standard questions for interviewing versus non-standard, more open discussion, and you guys landed on last year allowing it to be more open. But that's just, I know that it was kind of a call out during the general meeting. I think Jill might have said something about how other boards have standard questions, same questions for each applicant. When it's presented to the full body, something you might want to consider
Well,
tightening up on, but yeah.
Well, remember, we already put that list together and this committee said, no, they didn't want to use it. So,
yeah.
And, oh, well.
You're not required to by law. I mean, at least county council is at least informed me that. But
you know, can I just give you my viewpoint again? I outvoted the other time and understand. If we had those standard questions, we look and appear to be more professional. Mark would have 3. Nakenya would have 3. Crawford would have 3. And then after that, boom, or maybe we only do 2 of the 3 for each of us. And then that way it shows that each of us are participating in the endeavor. And I said my piece, so let's move on then.
Right. Well, and it's not just this big. So when you bring it to the full body, there's questioning going on there as well. So as a full body, there hasn't been a standard. But
see, I think that's up to the full body, how they want to address it.
Right.
I was saying from the formalized structure that there's a structure, we came out of our committee, these are the questions, and each of us would be an active participant. That was my goal last year, and I'll mention it again this year, but hey, we're not gonna make a big deal out of it. Think about it and let's move on then.
Sure. Well, and you guys have been flexible because sometimes in their presentation of themselves, they answer your questions, right?
Correct.
So, okay, so this is the community outreach section that we have individual tasks for. And we have here updating basically the CAB overview PowerPoint that Crawford was referencing. I know that there was some work to edit this last year. Well, let's just read this out loud. Update the CAB outreach presentation PowerPoint to reflect the CAB 2019 policy statement platform. I know that there was some talk during the retreat that some of these legacy operating documents, some of them are slightly outdated with some points, but I don't know how much we looked at the CAB policy statement platform last year, Crawford, if you recall, to make the updates to the CAB PowerPoint, but
why don't we take a look at that? See, I thought Michael Pitts did an excellent job when he brought the one that to us that we in turn tweaked very little.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then that in turn, I know I was able to use that when I made a presentation to the junior college instructors. And it was short and sweet and to the point. And when I timed it, it was like 12 minutes. No, it was 10 minutes. But then when you have the pauses and 1 or 2 questions, it was 12 minutes. And the instructor cut off, not the instructor, the head of the department stopped the questions because they had other things on their agenda.
Right.
So,
so it might be worth taking a look at that again.
Yes.
Maybe not to nitpick every little bullet point, but just to see for those that are not familiar with it. And I know that in part of the work that was done last year was to come up with that one slide, that one pager, because
Yes.
you've been in situations where you literally only had one slide to do.
Yeah.
So that might be worth coming back and showing this subcommittee what you did with that.
Okay, but let me caution on the one slide.
Mm-hmm.
When you're viewing something, I thought that, or felt that many times there's so much information on the one slide, and then we wind up reading point by point what's on the slide, that that's not an effective way when you're trying, to me, when we used to give presentations, you would have 3 to 5 bullets on a slide, and bullets, not all the narrative, because the narrative, then everybody, they start reading ahead. So if they're reading ahead, they're not paying attention to what you're saying. Versus the bullet, and I've generally tried to have 3 or 4 bullets, and that's it. And then I'll have my little 1 or 2 sentence narrative to go with each bullet. And now, again, that's just my personal preference. I don't know about anybody else's. Dale?
And what I found when I taught in the university was to bring one bullet in, then talk, then bring in the second bullet, and then talk.
Yes.
Because if you have all of them there to begin with, like you said, Crawford, the people are going to be reading all of them, and by bringing them in one at a time, you are controlling everything that they are getting.
And we can still accomplish, it's a one pager, we list all the bullets, then you get rid of that one page, bullet number 1, you talk 2 seconds, bullet number 2 is a separate slide, number 3, number 4, we have more slides, but I think we're able to maintain the concentration of the viewer or the audience. But again, that's just my personal viewpoint. And hey, let's get the work done. Let's not worry about my personal viewpoint or Dale's. If somebody else prefers it the other way, and we're communicating with people, amen, and that's our objective. So
PowerPoint has the feature where you can have one slide, but you can bring in the points.
Yes.
With that one slide. So you only have one slide, but you bring the points in one at a time.
You're talking about the animation of it.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm all too familiar with that.
Hey.
So yeah, I mean, if this task is okay, we can leave it as is, but it sounds like that there might be some work to maybe bring back at least once before we distribute. Because I know that some of the full body members have said, hey, can we have that PowerPoint for ourselves too? But I want to make sure you guys are comfortable with what it looks like, or what it, comfortable distributing it.
Okay, can we do this then, Nicole, for our next meeting? Can we, if you can send me the updated, and Mark, the updated policy statement and platform, why don't we take a look at that and see where we can put it in the current PowerPoint? And if both of us look at it separately, then we bring our review to the next meeting, and then we'll just put the son of a gun in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my understanding of this is that you're not actually putting the whole policy statement platform inside this PowerPoint presentation, but it just reflects
the bullets,
the overall.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess that's a question.
Well,
I don't know, because I don't know the history of this and how this came on this work plan, but it may already be there. Everything might already be there. I just don't.
Well, why don't we just review it and see where we are? How's that?
So would we bring, so that be an agenda item next time to come to talk about that? Or this is homework that we just provide an update, like, yeah, it's good to go, or no, it's not?
Why don't we do the homework so that when we get to the meeting, we're not talking and then don't arrive at anything. If we do a little bit of homework, let's look at it. We'll come to our meeting prepared.
Okay.
And then whatever Mark wants to do, we'll do what Mark wants to do. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
It looks like it has, from a timeline perspective, it says March. I think the idea there is that if there was any changes that we would have it kind of buttoned up by March so that we could start using
Why
it.
don't you put May?
May.
Because we're going to have our April meeting, and if we put May, and then if we solve it in April, then we'll send it out in April, so we'll be ahead of the game. How's that?
Okay.
Number, oh, any other, I'm sorry, I don't want to appear to be rushing. Mark, anything else on task 1 or Dale?
No, not for me.
Okay, Dawn. Hey, Dawn, we're not going to let you get away there. I'm watching you. Yes.
I'm just watching and learning. That's all.
Okay, good. Thank you. Just keep watching and learning because you're helping us, Dawn. Thank you. Okay, can we move, please?
Yeah.
Yes, Nicole.
So this is task 2 to identify and log the county and city board commissions, CBOs, and community meetings that directly affect the reentry population, and seeking community input, concern, and recommendations for reentry services. So I would, to my point earlier, I believe this is the equivalent of task 3 from a membership standpoint, but with very specific goals to appoint committee members, not just this specific committee, but committing all of our body, specific committee members to certain boards and commissions. Or so this is an example of, we appoint someone to HIP, we appoint somebody to Quack, and whatever else area they're, whether it's a board or community meeting that affects the reentry population. So I didn't realize this until I saw this year, that it was actually this body or this subcommittee's responsibility to identify that. I think we were attempting to try to identify it at the retreat, but we ran out of time. So that's how I'm interpreting this. If someone else has interpreted it differently, please speak. But that's how I'm interpreting this. And it makes sense because it says timeline is February, so that you want to appoint people early in the year so that they can start attending these forums.
We have to change the date, but I would like to add at the very end where your cursor is, for example. And why don't we list HIP, Quack, PPC, CCP, maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying, for example. That doesn't mean those are the ones. And I know the Board of Supervisors, that's a tough meeting. I don't know how we can get that type of time commitment from someone.
I mean, technically the CCP meeting is supposed to be, it's the responsibility of the members to attend at least half of those.
Okay.
So that's why I'm only hesitant to put that in here. But I don't think it's top of mind to anybody. I mean, if they don't see that in the bylaws, I'm probably not going to read this work plan and know that it's something that they're obligated to do. But
okay, but this is, again, just the work plan for us, and what we're going to try to make sure we push through and work with for the committee members at whole. So okay,
it could be our job, because there's been talk about our job as well. Anything really that. And this could change every year because, well, HIP at least has been there for a few years now. To my understanding, Quack has been there.
Okay.
Those are like standing boards and commissions that have been around since these AB 109 contracts for community programs have been around.
Okay, what is RSC?
So the Reentry Success Center Steering Committee is a requirement in their contract to have a steering committee, I believe, quarterly.
Okay.
And so that's the one-stop shop in West County.
Okay.
For that region. And then you have the Health Rate 360, which is the East County, Central County one-stop shop for reentry services.
All right.
So it's in the contract for the Reentry Success Center to have the steering committee. So by default, I will say that HIP and Quack, HIP, Quack, and the steering committee for Reentry Success Center has a voting member chair spot for the chair of CAB or their designee. So there's a difference between, okay, this has a voting member that you sit on, that CAB is an actual representative on that particular commission, versus like, let's attend a meeting because we're interested in the work that's being done in that space. So I don't know if we want to identify that here, but just to provide some clarity there.
Should we add the 360 on there too, if we're going to have the re-entry?
Well, I don't think that they don't have a steering committee. That's a requirement.
But shouldn't we be reaching out to them on a quarterly basis or something?
That's up to you guys if that's something that you want to do.
And maybe our reach out is we have them come and make a presentation to us. What are you doing? Hey, you're getting our money. Now tell us what you're doing with it. Or the county's money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think you need to identify that in this task on this work plan. That is the task, is to identify, right? These are just examples and they might change annually. So,
okay.
So I would bring this, my recommendation would actually bring this back as a task to identify.
Okay.
Maybe you have something that should be a standing every year, it shouldn't change. And maybe you have things that maybe our job is as a goal this year to have some collaboration there for this year.
Okay.
Because of the work you're doing, it may not be there next year.
Understand. Understand.
You know.
Okay. All right.
And so February is the timeline, but you might want to put you might want to put May there.
May.
As far as actually people, the assignments could happen as early as next month at the general meeting, right?
Okay.
But I think that there's work to be done to identify what those are before you can charge the full body for volunteers.
All right. Okay. Any other comments, Mark or Dale? Okay.
Oh.
All right, Dale?
No.
Okay. May we move then? What are we? Task 3?
That's 3. So we got 2 more here.
Hey,
representative of this subcommittee to visit monthly a minimum of 1 county or city board commission or COS. I'm not sure what a COS is. Community of support, maybe, or community meetings that directly affect the reentry population in an effort to educate those organizations on CAB's purpose, activities, boards. The CAB advises and what type of work the CAB is doing in relation to the reentry population. In addition, the OCEC is to report back to the CAB on the outreach organization's basic purposes and their shared goals and objectives of CAB. I feel like it's almost the same task, but this is very specific to you guys going out and making it a commitment to attend 1 monthly board or commission or community meeting. So this is the task 2 is for it. To me, it looks like all of the full body to kind of volunteer in certain areas. Task 3 is specific to this group. And I don't think that we did this last year or had assigned people in this particular subcommittee.
Because of the pandemic would be my guess.
Yeah. So again, I don't know the history of how these landed here, but I'm not sure the purpose of having you guys specifically be dedicated where you could also be committed here in task 2, if you so choose. So,
you know what my point is? I made 2 notes on this one. Is this being reasonable considering the limited resources that we have? Because if you look at the other things we're asking, our limit, we only have 3 people.
Right.
And then it seems to me we may be stretching the 3 people too far. And
yeah, I mean, I would say this committee out of the other committees is more on the boots on the ground where you guys are out because you're outreach. There's a lot more of a commitment to whether, that's making a phone call or driving to the local community college. There's a little bit more asked of you. So this might be too much with a committee of 3 right now.
Yeah. Well, let me
so
give you the example, Nicole. When I went to the DVC, I had to first stop at your office to get that information, which was no problem. and then that took X amount of time. So maybe you don't have to do that. So let's say that took 2 hours. And then when I went to DVC, when you take driving time, time for the meeting, and then I walk the campus finding other places, you're looking at 3 to 4 hours. Is that reasonable for our people based on the other things we're asking them to do to be involved in that type of effort?
Personally, I mean, I think it's an interesting task. I mean, it's basically the ambassador program, but but outside of board of supervisors. And
I don't know whether our members have the time to do it. We can ask them. And maybe there's a way we need to.
You can put that here if time permits. On the schedule, if time permits. But it might be worth going through the exercise. Maybe part of task 2 is that you identify, like, where would you guys even want to, where would it make sense for you to be, yeah, where would you go?
Okay.
Outside of these meetings, because these meetings are just, I would say, there's not a task here in task 2 for the board committee members to come back with all of task 3 that it outlines. They're supposed to attend and report back, but task 3 is very specific in the type of report out, or the type of collaboration that you're having within that particular board or commission. It's very specific, right? There's a whole paragraph here. So I would say that that is the difference, but I believe it's kind of implied in task 2 that you're kind of doing this. So I do like that they are more specific in how they're collaborating with this board commission community meeting. Maybe we copy and paste that and put it in here, but that's our purpose. But anyways,
well,
but we can put if time permits.
Maybe physically visiting is the hang up here. Maybe there are other ways of making contact other than physically visiting.
So maybe you don't limit it to visiting monthly, but it could be a phone call. So the interpretation of what that visit is not just, you know.
I agree.
I don't know. I probably can't change it on the fly and make it look good, but I can bring it back with some changes. But basically, with some language that, you know, leave it in here if time permits, but change the language to specify that it doesn't have to be a monthly meeting, but could be a phone call or, you know.
Well, I'm saying on my part, I could probably do a visit somewhere in person once a month. If we identify one that's be helpful, I'm willing to do that if we leave it on here like this.
Okay. And again, maybe that's what this is asking, task 2 to identify what these are.
Okay.
And this is saying to go do it. I might be totally misinterpreting this, but this is specifically stating a representative of this subcommittee where task 2 is just asking you to identify. But maybe it's more for not just the subcommittee, but the entire full body. Maybe you just take out, it's for the subcommittee, but it's for the entire body, because nobody else has this on their work plan, just so you know. Nobody else is tasked to identify or log, you know, with the exception of people that might have interests like in our job or something like that. There is no other subcommittee that's tasked to identify meetings like this. So maybe it's misleading to say that it's you guys that have to be the ones to attend. I think it should be open to the full body. So that might be something to change.
Okay.
Just a thought there.
So the members of this committee could be participating in or overseeing the visitations or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this, just like the ambassador program, that we could identify, because we identify in the ambassador program who the department heads that you guys, the body is going to go out and seek an ambassador meeting for. Maybe this particular subcommittee identifies who are the boards and commissions that we should, at least for this year, be involved with. And that's our task. And that would be something I would think you'd want to bring back to the full body to get their input on, so that there's some collaboration there. And then once that's decided, that again, I think this, to say it's just you guys being assigned, I think it really should be the full body here stated.
Okay.
So it's not, the full ownership is not on you. And maybe that was what was intended, and it just never got changed or edited here. But so.
Can you make that change in task number 3?
Representative of the full body?
Yes, of the full body. And maybe we'll say, do you want to say will visit or will attempt to visit? And didn't we say if we're not going to visit, then maybe a call? Or a
monthly or
participate. Well, does this committee have the authority to commit the entire body? This is a work plan for this committee, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a work plan for this committee.
So the way it's worded now is it basically you're directing the entire body to do this.
Well, I think what's going to impact task 3 is how many of these things you're identifying. I mean, we have to keep in mind that if you have a list of 50 different county boards and commissions, okay, we may not be able to, we'll have to prioritize, right, for the year. With the exception of the standing ones that we have to have a voting member seat on, which is the HIP, QUAC, and Reentry Success Center Steering Committee. But if you identify, some others that fall outside of this, you just have to keep that in mind. That, yeah. So, and maybe it's something you bring back to the full body to discuss. If maybe you only have 5 and you only need 5 volunteers, so. I think you can wait. You can change this work plan throughout the year, by the way. It doesn't have to be wrapped up in a bow today. If you guys go through the effort of identifying this task 2 and you find you don't need a lot of people, then this language can change. But my point here was that I wouldn't want to assign you guys to have to attend all of these, because I don't think that was the intent. I really don't. You guys are already doing that, your specific work in your membership cultivation and outreach here for recruitment needs. That's very specific to you guys. But to say this is about task 3, reentry services. Meetings that directly impact the reentry population. So this is about services as a whole for reentry services. So I wouldn't think that ownership is fully on you. So. But you're right. I see what you're saying. If you feel uncomfortable putting that the full body is required to do this without their input, then that might be something that in your report out next month, April 14th, that you would specify this. Hey, this is our final work plan. We did have something we wanted to bring to the full body's attention that we were changing here. And get people's input on it.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you could just say, I mean, you're not saying, I can change this to say basically a CAB representative. It doesn't have to be. Does it come across that I'm saying that the full body, like every single person in the full body has to do something? Is that how that come across?
I like when you said a CAB representative.
Okay, so we'll just
try. Yeah, rather than the full body, let's just say a CAB representative will attempt to visit or participate. Yeah.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Where else did I put that full body somewhere? In addition, the CAB representative You guys are getting to see real time how I can't spell.
I'm glad you're doing.
The flexibility is there in or participate by other means.
Yes.
So I put that in there.
That's
Excellent.
really good.
Yeah.
And at the end, the addition, the CAB representatives report back. Anytime you have a meeting like that, it's a report back is appropriate.
Okay.
So
Good, good.
So I think we're good there.
All right.
Okay. But again, this is going to come, task 2 is going to come first before any of that's happening.
Okay.
And then if time permits, do you feel like that still needs to be if time permits? Now that we've taken out full body from it and OCEC specific to it? I don't even remember what was there.
You could say God willing and the creek don't rise.
I think we could put January to December, but
yes,
for purposes, because it's like an ongoing thing. Okay, so our ambassador program, we know about this from last year. You guys kind of a sense of, you know, we identify, although I haven't seen anybody identify a new department head, but the existing department heads that we've had ambassador meetings scheduled for in the past was adopted, and then we assign members to, we do put a survey out there to get people's first and second preference.
Yeah. Can you hold on once? I've got to take a call. 1 second.
Nicole, I'm wondering if in the task above, where it says assigned committee members, this wouldn't just be committee members, right? Since there's a possibility of other CAB members.
Thank you.
Should it just say assigned members?
Thank you.
It's very specific to CAB members, so we're assigning all CAB members, whether they're alternates or not, to this initiative.
But see, it says here assigned committee members on the right column, and since you've broadened it to include even CAB members who are not members of this committee.
Right. Well, I think to clarify, we might need to go back through here because when this is here, I'm meaning the entire body. And this one here would be specific to outreach. Because it's asking for who's responsible. So I think we might need to go through that really quickly just to clarify, but I guess
or maybe say assigned.
It just depends on how you're looking at this. If you're saying like, okay, this particular task is who's going to take this on and do this within the subcommittee to make sure that this happens, you might decide a specific person in this subcommittee. But if you're looking at assigned roles as far as this deliverable, who will attempt to visit, that would be the full body that would be responsible for. So it just depends on how you're looking at this work plan. How I've seen it is it's the responsible persons is somebody within the subcommittee that's going to take this task on to be the owner of it. It doesn't mean that there won't be other people informing it or actually executing on it in the end, but that's how this particular column is usually utilized. So you might like say like Mark was really interested in task 3. Maybe he's, you know, and it might be just all members of the outreach committee that's responsible for it because they're all going to do it at some point. But yeah, you guys would decide that. Did I lose you?
Oh no,
okay. So so we were talking about task 4.
Yes.
I don't know if there's language that needs to be changed here, but cabinet to be ambassadors to the BOS and CC executive in order to create. So it is very specific. It's all the board of supervisors and the executive members.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because I don't feel like we actually went and saw every executive member. I'd have to go back and look at that. I never saw that before. So that's very specific to these individuals, then we would just need to confirm that moving forward, we're actually including every single member of the CCP.
Who would be considered the executive members?
It is very specifically outlined in their roster. I can't off the top of my head. I know like.
I see.
Yeah.
For example, some of the permanent members, that would be the DA, the probation.
Like ex officio members, yeah.
Public defender. Yeah, well,
right.
Aren't we already seeing them?
I think that we are. I'm just wanting to make sure now that I'm actually seeing this for the first time, or at least in detail, that we make sure that we cover everybody there. But
I was on the team that visited the county administrators, the county administrator.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's nothing to change there. It's more of just top of mind to me to make sure that we're covering everybody. And two-way channel for sharing information between CAB and the BOS and CCP. So
okay.
Now I know Crawford, you had some strong opinions about making sure that meetings were happening. So just looking at this timeline, I believe the explanation for the timeline is that by June we have assigned. We approved the assignments of who's going to go talk to who by June.
Okay.
What
so this has to be
not stating here is when we want those meetings to happen by.
No, but we want the assignment so that we have the CAB board members prepared. That gives them more than enough time,
right,
to prepare.
So one thing that's not really spoken to here that informs this and gives them basically the information that they need is the talking points, right? So you could get the assignments out by June, but if the talking points aren't approved until October, well, now you have a delay of them having that meeting.
Well, remember we said we were going to do talking points either August because we wanted our meetings in September.
Correct.
October.
So that's in kind of my project timeline to make sure that happens, but I'm just informing you here that if for some reason that does not happen, that would be delaying this from happening.
Well, there's a positive way to look at this, and that is that even if we miss this deadline, we'll still be ahead of where we were last year. And, last year was a little messy. So
I mean, I could put an asterisk here if you'd like that says dependent on approving talking points or something. If you like.
Yeah, well, no, we can have the assignments done by June.
Yeah.
Then the next stage happens to be the talking points.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not part of your guys' work plan.
Correct.
Although I think it might be part of your charge that is on the operating guidelines, but that is not part of your. Technically, it's everyone's charge, right? Because everyone's kind of supposed to collaborate on that.
Yes.
But so that's the end of your work plan.
Ah.
But I think one call out that Dale had a good point was like the responsible persons. And I don't know if we want to take a few minutes and I was kind of looking at this a couple different ways, and unless everyone's doing everything on this body or on this subcommittee, right now it's not very specific to who's doing what. If you want to hold off maybe on assigning a specific person to certain tasks, but.
Mark, what would you like to do? Mark, you're on mute.
Yeah.
There we go.
The only thing I mentioned before, I could engage some of these places we are supposed to go to do outreach. We identify CBOs or what would you suggest?
Well, no, what I was saying, do we want to assign ourselves? Maybe you and I could pick some things now that we have interest in, maybe, or do we want to, why don't we go down them quickly? Because I was looking at, okay, the first one, survey. This is what, basically all of us, you're going to put the survey out. Who's going to be the lead person on this? Do you want it to be me, Mark, or?
Well, and I was sharing with Dale, I think you were on mute taking your phone call, Crawford, that I think that this is why maybe it's kind of not clear, is that some people have used this as, okay, well, we're going to send a survey out to the entire body. So that's why you have all committee members on here.
Okay. Then understand.
Versus like a specific person on the outreach committee that is going to be on the hook for this. You guys are so small already, so I don't know if you can really say that one person's going to do only one, you know, you're probably going to have to tag team a lot of this because it's so, you guys are so small right now. But you can also address this later. You don't have to.
Yeah, but see, my experience is when we put things off, then it gets put off. We don't get anything done. You can put my name by number 2.
Okay. Whoa.
And you can put mine, and what is it? Then the outreach, what, on number 3?
No. I know Mark was very interested in this one.
Oh, then put Mark down. Shoot. Heavens, yes.
I have a comment.
Yes.
So I know, Crawford, you have your name on several areas, but you're tentatively on this committee until you recruit more members. So you have 3 new people. So would you just update the work plan once you have other people in place?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I think as long as I'm here, I want to get the stuff done, and I've already made some steps in those directions in some of this, so I might as well. And it would make it a lot easier if I did it. Okay.
Okay.
So for the reviewing of applications, you guys are all doing it. So I would say all
perfect
members.
Yeah.
And I just made that change up here, that full body, because the entire full body is going to be replying to that survey. Interviewing, again, all CEC members, because you guys are all interviewing. CAB outreach presentation, the PowerPoint, somebody want to own that? Or all of you?
Why don't you?
This is just updating. This isn't actually going out and doing the presentation.
I know, it's just, okay, Nicole, you and I can work together, or you can give me some guidance. We'll knock that out. Because, so to me, it's already done, so, yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then identifying the log, the county, basically identifying all the different bodies and or community forums that directly impact the reentry population. This seems to be like a full subcommittee effort in my eyes, but because you guys are all going to bring something to identify, unless one person is identifying.
Seems to me we should have one person as the lead, and why don't we put Kenya down? Okay. Because she came up with the great idea on the churches, etc.
And then this would be full body.
Okay.
Although that might be misleading. I think it should be assigned. This is an example of it actually should be assigned committee members.
Okay.
And same with this. This is going to be assigned committee members.
All right. But you see what I was getting? At least we got to start.
Sure.
Versus saying, oh, well, we'll look at it next time. Okay, there we go. Okay.
So that's that document. Where are we at here? So we're basically reviewing next steps for next meeting. So I know there was talk about talking about the task of identifying where you guys want to do outreach.
Yes.
Identifying that and then bringing the PowerPoint back as well.
Yes.
Let me pull up the work plan again. The survey, I'm bringing back the survey. You guys are wanting to review the questions?
Yes.
Application's good. So you're going to do test 3 next time around.
And the next step might include any modifications based on a full board feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we can present this to the April 14th as an attachment in the report out and see if they have, I don't think that we have done that traditionally, like had a longer conversation, but I think it's a good idea that as folks kind of finalize the work plans, that they obviously present that to the full body and get input. So I think it's a great idea. You guys feel good about this? So I have, again, just to recap the homework for the PowerPoint presentations. I will distribute that so that you guys have, did you want to leave off the one pager for now and just focus on the larger PowerPoint presentation, Crawford, Mark?
What do you think, Mark?
I could put it in the attachment. If you don't get to the one pager, at least you guys can.
You know what I'm thinking? Let's do the big one. And then once you get the big one done, then you can get, what is it, trim it down to get to your one pager.
Okay.
How's that?
Sounds okay.
All right.
And then as far as the outreach, this task 3, is this something that is kind of homework where everyone brings to the table ideas that they have of either boards and commissions, CBOs, or other forums to do recruitment, to whether that's a phone call or a meeting or a visit.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. And then the survey, there's nothing you need to do there. I mean, you can review it ahead of time, but I do try to post this 4 days before the scheduled meetings. So that should give you enough time to review these type of attachments, but I'm happy to distribute them ahead of time as well.
Okay.
Anything else?
Meet our objective here.
And then, of course, if we get any applications between now and then, I will. We would have that as an agenda item to discuss. But other than that,
okay. Now, is there anything else, Mark, that we may have omitted?
Not that I see.
Okay, sir. And then Dale, anything that we might have omitted or that you'd like to see us revise?
I'm impressed with your with the results of this.
Okay, and now let's go to Dawn.
No, I'm impressed with your massage abilities, Crawford.
No, that's the whole group from Mark and Dale. Hey, right now we're the 3 Musketeers. Okay, all right then. And so we will then move forward. We've got our marching orders, correct, Nicole? Now it's up to us to, follow down that path. So we should be in good shape. And Dawn, thank you for joining us and for your input. It is so doggone helpful to get that outside view. Please join us again. Okay. Can we, by chance, have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Right, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And roll call.
Crawford.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Okay.
Is this a new thing? Because I don't normally do this, but I'm happy to.
Okay.
I don't think we have to, but I can start adding that in if we need to.
All right. Whatever. Thank you. And
12:30.
Yes. And Monique, you were going to give me a call?
Yes, I'll call you in a few minutes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.